Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Jusnik Studio cut files. The cut file I use for this layout is this Dip into Summer in a circle. Perfect. So I've actually been digging through my Vicki Boutin stash and I've got some little photos printed. I cut the cut file out of pattern paper and I'm actually going to use one of the Vicki Boutin pre-made backgrounds as the base for this. So I'm just trying to figure out where I'd like these photos to go, and then I'm going to fussy cut this wave paper. So the cut file, as I say, I've cut it from pattern paper and then I've cut another layer to go behind so that the words are darker. This is the offset function on the silhouette, and I use it quite a lot actually, and it works really well. So that's how I've backed the letters this time, so it's one big circle. So I've cut the waves out of this paper and I'm going to just start to arrange them around the cut file. What I would say is when I first started cutting cut files, I always cut them out of cardstock, and I always cut them out of white cardstock, and then I got a bit adventurous and sometimes I cut them like black titles and things. But actually there's so much you can do with cut files, and you can see the difference here by actually cutting them using pattern paper. As long as you change your settings, they cut really well. So it's something I would really recommend you looking at as a way of changing up the way you do your cut files. Also, because you can change the sizes of them, honestly, the opportunities are amazing. If you have a look at Jusnik, there is a design team. There's a lot of inspiration on Instagram. There is a blog that's no longer used, but there's still lots of inspiration there. There's new cut files added to the shop literally on a weekly basis, so you can never run out, and they're so versatile that you'll be using them time and time again. So if you've ever watched one of my videos before, you know that I like to faff. So I wanted to make sure I'd cut enough waves from the pattern paper. So I'm just placing them around the photographs and the cut file just to see if I like the way they look, whether this is the way I'm going to go with this layout. I know quite a lot of people that do YouTube videos, they have a lot of it planned out or even cut out in advance. Unfortunately, due to time, that's not generally the way I work. So I'm literally thinking on my feet as I'm making the layout. I did dig out the papers because the idea was there, but that was the only prep I'd actually done. So I've moved them all aside and I'm actually going to commit this time. So I'm going to come in with some foam pads, and I've obviously stuck the circle down, and I'm now going to add the photographs either side. Now it's worth me discussing the photographs. What I will say is you're never too old to try something new. I'm not sure that I've always believed that philosophy, but this year I've decided that actually maybe that's the way I should go. And whilst on holiday earlier this year, I tried paddleboarding for the first time whilst in the sea. Oh my goodness me. First of all, kudos to anyone out there that already paddleboards, because found it really tough just even getting on the board. And there's three of us, my husband, a family friend and myself, that are in the photographs, and we're the three that had a go. The paddleboard was a blow-up paddleboard. I don't know whether that makes it easier or harder. And also obviously the sea, there was continuous movement, so I don't know whether we'd been better on some sort of flat water, but it was so funny. Less so when you're face planting the sea and it's going washing out your sinuses, but I have to say we laughed and laughed, and my arms ached for days afterwards. And I gather from a friend that was still on the shore, we provided some real entertainment to everybody sitting on their sun loungers on their holiday. I think we were like literally like watching live TV. We did have a GoPro out in the water with us, so that's where these photographs have come from. That's why they're printed small. They're really good quality considering how they were taken, but actually I wouldn't want to necessarily blow them up big. But I mean, it was so much fun. Without knowing, my husband even split his board shorts trying to get onto this paddleboard, honestly. So the motto of the story is, if you feel like it, try something new, because you never know. I would certainly do it again under different circumstances. I'd definitely be less wary. because we just even looking at this, I'm smiling as I'm even thinking about the laughter that we created. And what I will say, in the time that we hired the board, I did actually manage to stand up and take the paddle off the paddle board and literally paddle a few strokes. But that's as far as I got. The boys got a little bit further. But as I say, well worth, just for the laughter benefit. It was just, they do say laughter's the best medicine, and that's definitely how it feels when I look at these photographs. So what you might see that my hands are doing is I'm coming back in, and I've not only have I distressed the edges of these waves, I'm actually now sticking them in position. So the base of them is being stuck with tape, and then the actual wave bit's been lifted with foam pads. Some of them are connected to each other. I was trying to get some movement. I'm going to intertwine a few as well. I didn't want to cover it completely because the background is superb. It's one of those printed ones from Vicki Boutin, like foundation papers type ones. And I wanted a lot of that to show. I think it worked really well. Unfortunately, for some reason, the sea and the sky in these photos aren't very bright. I don't know why. The photos were taken in Italy. But it all seems to go together. So that's all stuck down. So I'm just looking for some finishing touches. I don't feel that it needs much. So these hearts, I think, are from the Kaleidoscope range. How old is that? But I've still got a few of those left. So I'm going to look at tucking some of those in. And I want to add something over the top. So I'm going to have a look through. I keep all my Vicki Boutin older collections together. So they're all mixed in. So I've got all the sticker sheets and chipboard and bits and pieces. So I don't always know, unless the strip is on, which range things are from the past. So I'm just having a look what maybe chipboard words or something I could add to these hearts. And I carry on looking through what stash I've got left. As you can see, they all look well used. And then I come across these arrows at the top here, and they're perfect shades of blue. And one of them says, "Did that?" And that just made me think, that was made for this. So I took off the chipboard that was on that heart, and I'm going to add a bit of foam to the back of that arrow, and "Did that" is going to go on that top heart. So I'm just going to tuck that into place there in the waves next to that photo of me on the board. So then have a look at the other arrow, and I think I put "True Story" at the end. So I want to add some journaling. I don't want it to stand out too much. So using an ink oxide, I'm just going over my journaling before I cut it into strips, just to make it a similar shade, just so it's just not so in your face. I do this quite a lot at the moment, just to get my journaling on, but because sometimes I feel it stands out, and I want it to be there, because obviously I'm recording the memories, but I just don't want it to be the focal point. So I ink it first, because I find if I ink the little strips, they get all rooked up. So I ink it as a piece of card after I've written the words, and then I trim them to fit. So it literally just says "So much fun paddleboarding," and the date and the place. And I'm going to put a couple of bits either side of the title. And that's pretty much how this layout went together. I couldn't get over it from when it was in my head to how it ended up on paper. Very much what I imagined, which just isn't always the case when I scrapbook. But I'm really pleased to have this cut file as the focal point, and the Vicki Boutin supplies really made the difference. So there's it all stuck down. There's quite a bit of depth. Really pleased with that. Here's the full image and some close-ups. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and check out Just Nick Studio Cut Files. You won't be disappointed. Bye for now.